Casey Null, the oldest daughter of Jamie and Misty Null, was sentenced to 9 months in jail. She's expected to serve about half that time. It's our top story here at 5. Thanks for joining us. I'm Connie Leonard.
This ongoing case continuing again today on this Monday. Casey Null is also ordered to pay $108,000 in restitution to New Chapel EMS, the agency which she stole from. Our Focus reporter Travis Breeze and photojournalist Jessica Farley were back in that courtroom today, and Travis is joining us live. And Travis, was Judge Medlock quick to accept this plea agreement? And can you also address, really in reality, how long will Casey Null be spending in prison?
Had some questions before he was willing to accept this plea agreement. He did accept it the same day that it was presented to him, which is faster than we saw in the case of Jamie Null. But he had a lot of questions for Casey Null and her attorney, such as if the line for part of this trial was that this was all Jamie Null's doing and Casey had no knowledge, then how could she really accept, or rather take...
Mr. Null, at his sentencing, indicated that it was all his fault. He got everybody into this mess, and now your client wants to plead guilty.
Casey Null trying to take responsibility for swiping a New Chapel EMS credit card for years, buying things like tanning sessions, cosmetics, clothing, even Netflix subscriptions. She pleaded guilty to making a false tax return, but in Jamie Null's sentencing, he said he filed everyone's taxes. So Judge Medlock wanted to know, what's changed?
How did she know they were false?
Casey's attorney provided this response after court.
It's quite common for a defense attorney to look at a case and speak with a client and say, I see these defenses, and those may be very viable defenses. And it's common to use those in negotiations to reach a plea.
Once he moved past that, Medlock wanted to know how Casey will behave once she's out of jail.
What have you learned?
The biggest thing I've learned is to not blindly trust people, even family.
Casey speaking even more about her family fallout.
I followed the wrong examples, and I'm sorry.
I believe you're a victim of your father, and perhaps a victim of your mother.
Medlock accepted the plea, and Casey was put into handcuffs right then and there. She'll serve at least 4.5 months and then may be released for nearly 5 years on probation.
I think this whole process has caused her to rethink things that she may not have thought about, but I'll let her words stand on their own.
The frivolous spending is over as the punishments begin and the lessons continue. We were told because of the low level of these felonies and the length of the time incarcerated that Casey will be serving these 4.5 months at the Harrison County Jail. Judge Medlock reminded her that during her 4 years and 3 months or 4 years and 6 months of probation, after that she cannot drink alcohol and she cannot do drugs. And he said that he will be more than happy to send her to real prison for the entirety of this 5-year sentence if she violates her probation. Doug?
Well, Travis, you reported that she's got to pay restitution over $100,000. Can she repay that money? Can she meet this order to repay restitution?
That's a very good question, and to this point, most of the, do they have the money has been related to Jamie Null because his restitution is so much larger. We asked Casey's attorney, Sonny Bush Sawtell, today if she is employed. She did say she has had a job throughout the entirety of these proceedings, but she would not tell us where that job is, Doug.
All right, thank you very much, Travis Breeze. Continuing the story of the Null family.
Well, it was nice to see the sun back out today, even though it's still very cold out there.
I did. I maybe saw a little melting here and there, not much today, and we are waiting to see when all this is going to melt through because, as you know, Connie, what's happened, our nice fluffy snowfall has now turned into ice rinks. You can't even walk on the sidewalks anywhere. Big.
Or gray snow. It's not quite as pretty when it's a week later. But we do have a beautiful blue sky out there. It was actually warmest after midnight last night in the upper 30s, and now we're in the upper 20s. Had that cold front move through earlier this morning. We're going to have another front that'll move through tomorrow afternoon, and that'll give us a chance for a couple flurries. But with that clear sky, those temperatures are going to drop like a rock tonight. Wind chill in the upper teens out there with that wind gust at around around 15. So some chilly wind chills all across the area. Live view with our Hughes and Coleman cam of that clear winter sky with our U of L Health camera network. So wind chill now 14 in Paoli, 12 in Jasper, 19 is the feels like in Elizabethtown, and 16 in Hardinsburg. So definitely bundle up. It is rather chilly out there. There's our clear sky. A little disturbance moving through South Dakota. That's going to be heading our direction, and that'll give us a chance for a couple light snow showers, especially for areas off to the northeast tomorrow afternoon. For tonight, mostly clear. Those low temperatures dropping into the teens, so just a deep freeze for tonight. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll have high temperatures near freezing. You see the clouds coming in tomorrow afternoon with that chance of a few of these flurries out there as well. Little to no accumulation with that, maybe a dusting in some spots. 20s this evening and then teens overnight. That forecast low at 16 degrees, 20s at noon tomorrow, and that high up to around 32 degrees. Now this weekend is our next storm system. It'll bring a good chance of some rain and maybe a little snow as well. Coming up in our Weather Impact Team 7-day forecast, we'll look at more details.
I thought it'd be better than driving down here, and I'd rather just walk and slip than like crash my car into something, because it just, like, it's so, like, I could feel it in my car when I'm driving.
Well, a week has passed since the major snowstorm gave Louisville 14 inches of snow. Now people like Meredith Schock, who lives in the Schnitzelburg neighborhood, are wondering when her street will get plowed.
Well, get this, Connie, when you look at it, today was really the first time JCPS students have been back in the classroom since the long holiday break. We're talking Christmas. They got an extra week off last week. Many elementary students had to walk to school this morning because of those unpaved roads. WHAS11's Gabriel Gonzalez is live in the Schnitzelburg neighborhood. And Gabriel, how are the roads out there right now? And I know you've learned some new information from JCPS about tomorrow as well.
Hey, good evening, Connie and Doug. So roads just like this one are blanketed with ice. Drivers are really encouraged to use caution on roads like this, especially for drivers tomorrow going to JCPS, because they are resuming normal hours tomorrow on Tuesday for JCPS. Now, I did speak with a neighbor earlier who said she had just one word to sum up how her feelings are for the past week.
It sucks because I don't work from home, and so I literally had to borrow my girlfriend's car just to leave the house.
When you walk or drive along Lydia Street in the Schnitzelburg neighborhood, you'll hear this. It's what Meredith Schock, who's lived here since June, says makes her and her neighbors feel like their neighborhood doesn't matter.
I feel less important. I mean, I know that we're not an emergency route, and I understand. I see a snowplow on the highway, and I'm like, why are you guys here? Like, you're not needed anymore. You need to, like, do these side roads.
She sent me this video from her doorbell camera of a truck seemingly having a hard time making it up her street. The driver puts the truck in reverse and doesn't come back. Parents of JCPS students sharing the same concerns about the roads as their kids return after the extended winter break.
Roads are not great. I mean, like, the main roads are fine, but the side roads were a little dicey. Yeah, as far as like in front of the school and cleaning it up and stuff, I mean, people are parking and their kids can't get onto the sidewalk.
Over the weekend, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg posted this video saying how much salt was put onto the roads in the metro.
And I'm here at the East District in the Salt Dome, where a week ago there were 10 million pounds of salt here. And as you can see, our crews that have been working round the clock have used a lot of it. But we have plenty of salt left in our 4 snow domes underground.
Everyone keeps saying, we've never had this much snow. And I'm like, okay, I think we should prepare to have this much snow now, because that's just what's happening in the world.
As the sun helps melt away the 14 inches of snow in the metro, people living along streets like these are left waiting for their roads to return back to normal. As for now, people in these neighborhoods will have to depend on the sun to melt this snow and ice right here on their roads. I did email a city representative to see when and if these roads will be plowed. I have not yet heard back. Back to JCPS once again. They are resuming normal hours for tomorrow on Tuesday, so keep an eye out for that. Reporting in the Schnitzelburg neighborhood with photojournalist Emma Gefter, Gabriel Gonzalez, WHAS 11 on your side.
All right, thank you, Gabe. And we want to make sure that you're always prepared given any kind of weather. The best way to do that is by downloading our WHAS 11 News app. We'll send you notifications to keep you updated right to your phone. Well, a federal judge says he's concerned with the timing of the proposed police reform agreement between Louisville and the U.S. Department of Justice.
Judge Benjamin Beaton here in Louisville is considering whether to approve that federal consent decree, which was finalized back in December. You may remember Beaton, a appointee of Donald Trump, had also strong words today saying he's not going to be a rubber stamp. Isaiah Kim Martinez was in the courtroom for the lengthy hearing. And Isaiah, if this judge vetoes this means there's no federal oversight of LMPD?
Well, Doug, it's a tricky situation because ultimately both sides agree to this agreement. So that does make it tricky with Donald Trump coming in. I can say, though, he was very thorough in asking the United States why it believes a consent decree is the best way forward. Now, in a hearing lasting more than 4 hours, Beaton said he's, quote, concerned of a judge's involvement in the day-to-day operations of the police department. He suggested judicial oversight may reduce accountability from a mayor, city council, or a police chief for its problems. Meantime, outside groups today also filed briefs both in support and against the consent decree moving forward.
And you've heard, both sides agree that there is a need to make significant change to the police force here in Louisville. And we're hopeful that the judge will agree and enter this consent decree. And that's what the community wants.
We're very pleased that the judge's questioning tracks very closely with our legal arguments. We expect that this thing will get tossed. Louisville will be safer as a result of it.
Now, the judge questioned the timing of the agreement coming after the presidential election and now seeking approval 7 days before Donald Trump takes the White House. Beaton said an argument can be made that the DOJ is rushing to get this done. Now, the consent decree requires a list of changes to LMPD's policies that includes excessive force, search warrant, and other areas to come into compliance with federal law. Now, if approved, an independent monitor would measure progress and report back to the federal judge. No word yet on how long it'll take Judge Beaton to issue his decision.
Thank you very much. Well, work is officially underway now at the Home of the Innocents east of downtown Louisville to increase capacity to care for children.
1, 2, 3.
Today in the snow and ice and the cold, the organization breaking ground on its expansion project at the end of East Market in Butchertown. That'll help house more than 120 children and young adults facing health challenges. At today's groundbreaking, President and CEO Paul Robinson said this moment wouldn't have been possible without help on a local and statewide level.
It's been an incredible effort from so many different people, including lawmakers, the executive branch of our state government, but also the foundations and the major donors and the everyday donors of our community. This is an expensive project. It's a $75 million project that is made possible by the supporters of our mission.
The Home of the Innocents took over the old historic Bourbon stockyards and renovated those buildings for its big campus in 2004. The project, this one, is expected to wrap up in 2027.